All right, so I want you to picture this. You have zeroed in on the RV you want to buy. You've done your homework. You've struck the deal with the dealer and you send them a $5,000 deposit. Fair enough, right? Well, you schedule the time off work. You got to book your flight to go get it. And soon you're going to be on your way to the RV that you've been dreaming about. Well, then you arrive at the dealer and, well, that's when things start going south. Way south. You're all excited. You show up. You open the door and the smell hits you. There's wires hanging down. Polka dots up on the ceiling. Mold? No, couldn't be. What an awful letdown. Well, today, Kevin Peavey is going to share his story. His story is one that left such a bad taste in his mouth for Camping World. Everything about Camping World, he decided that he would create a Facebook group to help others avoid what could be a life-changing catastrophe at the dealership that says, if you're not happy, we're not happy. So, Kevin wasn't happy, but you know what? He was determined. And he started this little Facebook group called Camping World Sucks. And it grew. And it grew with tens of thousands of angry Camping World customers from every corner of the country. But guess what happened recently? Guess. Camping World Sucks. One of the most active RVing groups on Facebook just disappeared. Poof, gone. Was Camping World, do you think, was Camping World Sucks a victim of Camping World? Or did Facebook target them for something bad? They went too far over the top to let the group remain on their platform. In just a bit, we're going to try and figure that out, and we'll find out what Kevin has done to fight back, so to speak. I think you're going to like it. Now, before we roll, if you're looking for America's most trusted RV dealers, the good guys and gals in the RV industry, grab your phone, scan that QR code you see over here on the screen, or click on the link down in the description and check them out. As I said, they are some of America's most trusted RV dealers, and I strongly recommend them. All right, make sure you drop a comment today as we roll along and we hear about Camping World Sucks. So we have communicated with each other for probably 6 months or so, and you're kind of a legend to me and to and to tens of thousands of other people because of what you had. Camping World Sucks, the Facebook group, 50-something thousand members, and one day it is gone. And so I wanted to get to the bottom of it because I guarantee there's at least 50-something thousand people out there going, what the hell happened? But we're going to get to that. But I want to tell me who Kevin is. How did this whole thing come about?
Well, we were looking for Class A. We had a fifth wheel, and we thought it'd be much easier and better to travel around in a Class A. So we were looking. We wanted to do a lot of the national parks. So we were looking for a smaller Class A, but a diesel. And we picked a type that we liked. And we saw one at Camping World, which was McGeorge RV in Virginia. So we called them and we said, hey, you have this on your site. Can you tell us more about it? We had a couple of phone conversations and we were interested. So we said, we don't want to fly down just to see, because we're in Massachusetts. We didn't want to fly down just to see it. We wanted, our preview. Yeah. So we asked them to do a video of it. So they kindly did a video. They skipped all of the things that we'll talk about in a minute. But
all the things they should have shown you, they didn't show you.
Exactly. They skipped over all of the things that were wrong with it. So we said, this is of interest to us. We want to put a deposit down. So we put $5,000 down and said, we will come down in 2 weeks because it was going to take some time to get a loan and all that stuff. And we'll purchase it if it's what you say it is.
Based on good faith.
On good faith.
Okay.
Yep. We made reservations. We flew down on a Thursday night because we had a 8 o'clock meeting on a Friday morning. So missed time out of work. Fly down. we walk in there the next morning, and the salesman we're supposed to be meeting with isn't there. It's like, okay. So we're talking to the receptionist, and she's like, oh, we have the paperwork here. Just sign it. And by the time you're done with the paperwork, he should be in. And I'm like, I haven't seen this RV in person. I'm not going to sign anything until I see it. And they hemmed and hawed. And then they finally said, well, it's in the back parking lot. So my wife and I took our luggage, because we planned it on driving.
It's a one-way deal.
One-way deal, yeah. We go out, and the first thing we notice is the front of it. It had that plastic shield on it that all the older RVs put on that had mold behind it. And one of the things was they were going to fix that before we got there. They fixed it by putting a wrap over it. So it had just a wrap over the plastic. So now you've got the plastic and the wrap, and it looked like crap. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. We did a walk around the outside while they were going to get the keys. They wouldn't allow me to get on the roof, and I get, liabilities and stuff like that. But I really wanted to see it because that's really where RVs go bad quick.
Right.
And they open it up. We walk inside, and the first thing that hit us was this smell of mold. It just smelled really bad, and it was like the service manager says, "Oh, you can tell the age of a camper by how it smells." And I'm like, "I've been camping my whole life. That's not a true statement." So we went in, and there's wires hanging from the dash. There's wires hanging from the TV that was there. And I said, what's going on with this? Is, oh, we were fixing it to get it ready for you to take because the radio doesn't work. The TV isn't working. And I'm like, okay, how long would this take if we decided we're going to take this? I was, oh yeah, we'll get it done in a day or two. And I'm like, listen,
you were supposed to,
here
yeah,
to pick this up, to drive it home that weekend. So we continued going through, we go into the bedroom, and underneath the washer dryer combo, the wood is all molded. You can just see it as soon as you walk in. This is something that anyone that would have videoed it that didn't want to hide something would have shown you. So me being me, I started opening drawers, and I opened up drawers, and there's mold in the drawers, and there's mold on the bottom underneath the drawers. And
so hang on, Kevin. So what are you and your wife? You're looking at each other like,
I'm looking at her like we just wasted our time. So
But what did the Camping World person do that was showing you? Was it like they didn't see it? Don't look over here.
No. He was like, oh, all this can be fixed, and I'm like, how? And in how long would it take you? Would you replace that panel? Would you pull out these drawers and get all that mold out? And obviously there was a problem that created all this mold, and I'm rolling my eyes, and as I did it, I looked at the ceiling, and the ceiling looks like it's got polka dots, and it's all little black mold on the ceiling. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So we get out of the RV, and we go back in, and the salesman's there, but he goes, I can't talk to you now. You need to talk to the service manager. So I go over to the service manager, and I'm like, we had this all laid out. You knew we were coming down. I've got a check in my hand to pay for this. And you guys did nothing. You lied to me. You deceived me to, come down. I've lost money on flights, hotels. Now I can't even get a flight home because, they didn't have a flight that afternoon that I could have got. So I'm going to spend another night in a hotel, and then I got to fly back. And he's like, well, if you give us till tomorrow at noon, we'll have this ready for you. And we'll pay for a hotel room for you for the night. I said, fine, I'll take the hotel room. Basically, because I had nowhere else to go. And
so hang on. Say, had you signed the papers by now?
no, absolutely not.
Awesome.
I said
awesome.
I would not sign because I knew once I signed it, I owned it.
Right.
So they put us
hang on. They had $5,000 though, right? You had
said they had $5,000 of my money. Yes.
Okay. So they kind of have you on the hook, but you're trying to figure things out. And you just want to get home.
So we gave them the day. We showed up at noontime exactly. We walked out to see if it was ready before we even walked into the office. The service manager looked at me and says, there's no way we can fix this in time. And some of the stuff we can't fix. So
they just lied to you.
They just lied to me. Absolutely.
Okay. So I want to get, I guess you did get your money back, but it left a really bad taste in your mouth.
It took about a month, I believe, to get my money back. It left a wicked bad taste in my mouth. But, when I was walking out the door, it said, if you're not happy, I'm not happy, from Marcus Lemonis. So I went through the process of reaching out to Marcus. Never really talked to him. I talked to a bunch of lackeys that, jerked me around.
Yeah.
And they told me because that they had put me up for one night that made us even for all of the expenses that I had. And
what?
Oh yeah, I have all the emails going back and forth with them because it pissed me off. And I'm a very even-tempered guy. It takes a lot to get me upset. I was upset.
Okay, so that whole experience, thank God you got your $5,000 back and your free hotel night, but you were disappointed and that left a bad taste in your mouth. When did the idea of Camping World Sucks come up, and what? Tell me about the genesis of that, the birth, and because right now it's gone. We can't find it.
It's gone, right? I can get in it and I can see it, but I can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Facebook says it shut me down for violating community standards.
Okay, but let's go back to the beginning, to the very beginning.
Basically, I'm sitting in the airport fuming because I couldn't get my money back that day. All of the expenses and all of the excitement that, hey, we were going to be driving this thing home and, we were going to have that Class A that we wanted, was just boiling. And I was looking through Facebook and I saw a similar type thing for someone else had put in. And I said, you know what? I'm going to see if there is a Facebook Sucks. And there wasn't.
Camping World Sucks.
Oh, Camping World. Yeah. Wow. Same thing now. Camping World Sucks. And there wasn't. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create it. And it took off. The first 6 months, I had a few thousand people and it just kept going. In the end, I had over 52,000 people that were on Camping World Sucks.
If people never had the opportunity to go to that group, give a picture, if you will. What was it like? Was it very?
I gave people a platform to talk about their experiences because what I wanted was to make sure other people didn't go through the same thing that I had just gone through, because I lost money. It totally turned me off on, trying to buy an RV, which is what I really wanted to do. And I had no forum other than to, talk to friends about it. And I'm like, this isn't right. This company who preaches, we care and, we're out the lowest prices, screwed me. And
Kevin, who do you blame? Do you blame the salesperson? Do you blame the manager?
I blame Marcus because you can't have a salesperson that has that much pull, that can make those calls himself. And through the 52,000 people that have, joined, I've heard stories from across the country in almost every Camping World that have the same thing. So it's a company policy to basically screw people. And, people go in there thinking that this company isn't out to screw me. I'll get that $240 payment or whatever, they've been talked to. And then they add all these other things to their, finance. And before you know it, they can't afford this thing anymore. And they're stuck with it because they've signed the paperwork. Mm-hmm. And I myself have done that, not with Camping World, but, signed an auto loan, and didn't read it, all the fine print. And if I had basically just signed that paperwork, I'd be sitting on a mold pit that I couldn't sell.
Were you surprised at the response? How many people, and how it's like from east to west, north to south. It's everywhere. The Kevin stories. And when I found your group, I was, on one hand, I was thinking there's no way. And on the other hand, it just didn't surprise me. It's like this endemic culture of corruption. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just taking advantage of people.
I think, corruption is there. I mean, I think they're definitely taking advantage. If you look at the lawsuits and the people that would contact me on the side saying, I can't put my story on because they paid me off.
Sign an NDA.
A portion of, and I'll get in trouble. And the employees, I would get tons of employees that would reach out to me saying, I can't put my name on it because they watch my social media.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So they would have to be anonymous, and then
anonymous. And a lot of them reached out to me the same way you did, through Messenger.
Yeah. It's almost like, God, I hate to say this, it's like organized crime. It's like a system of.
And that's why I said it can't be just the that local manager, because that local manager would be out of a job in a company that really cared about doing business well. They're about making money and screwing you as much as they can. There's no other way to put it.
When you see that big American flag, and people have talked about it in the group, what are your thoughts when he goes, well, I'm Mr. Patriotism, I support this and that? He
uses that for free advertisement. That's the only reason he would hang anything up that he thought would get him free advertisement. Good advertisement, not my advertisement.
Right. So, okay, I must tell you that when I would go to Camping World Sucks often, and I would read stories and communicate and post, and all of a sudden it was gone. And I thought, oh, it had to be because of something I've said, that, Kevin had to have thrown me off something. And then my wife gets on, my daughter, I said, can you, and people are emailing me going, what happened? And so that's how, what happened and what was, let's get into the explanation, because I've got my theory about what happened, but it's just a theory.
So I was on it one day, the next day, because every day I would get, things that I would have to approve. I went on it and it said I'm locked out. And I'm like, okay. So I contacted a friend of mine who is another admin for the site. And she said, yeah, I can't even see it. It's gone. And I got this thing from Facebook that said, your site has violated community standards and we've shut it down.
What standards? What did?
Well, that's the thing, is they don't give you any examples. They don't tell you, what community standards is. Just like saying, I don't like you. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you what you did wrong. But, community standards, we're just going to kick you off. Which, so like I said, I don't get excited or mad very often, but just like when I was at Camping World, this just set me off and said, you know what? I'm going to start another one, and I'm going to get more people because.
Okay, so this is your platform, Kevin. The
Yeah.
new group is, and let's get people going. And you know, hey, if there, by the way, I'm sorry for interrupting, but if there's anybody with a positive Camping World experience, let's talk about it. But
Well, you know what? And I said that if you have a positive experience, put it on the site. I never deleted anything, that was positive.
Right.
I will say that people that put positive results on often got a lot of comments back that bullshit,
Yeah.
you work for the company. But I would put them up because every once in a while, I'm sure someone did make out or thought they did. And as long as they thought they did, then they did. But now we have a new Facebook group. It's called Camping World Still Sucks. It is out there. Please join. Let us know your stories. And share it, because what I want to do is make sure that no one else gets screwed. No one else loses money to this corporation that doesn't care about anything but money. And if I put them out of business, so be it. And the people that are working for these places will get another job somewhere else, that they don't have to hide in shame that they work at a place that screws people all day.
Yeah. To me, I have to think the nefarious reasons why your first group was pulled down. And I believe, I could be way off base, but it would not surprise me if somebody in their army of lawyers in Lincolnshire were to contact somebody at Facebook and write them a nasty gram, write them a nasty letter, and make innuendo about how you're doing all these things that are bad and wrong, and that they probably caved to that pressure. Again, that's a supposition. I could be completely wrong, but if they didn't even tell you what your community standards were that you broke,
and I've never had a site before. I never wanted a site before. It's a lot of work, and I'm not getting any money from it. The only thing I was getting from it was work and the fact that I know I was helping people, and that's a big thing for me. Is I've always wanted to help people. So, to take any money away from that group and put it towards the smaller RV places or the honest RV places, I want to do that.
So question, did you actually finally end up getting a motorhome? Did you buy one?
I did. I actually bought from a private owner. Had it for, actually, I got it about 3 months after that Camping World experience.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, I bought it in Virginia.
Well, there's a whole lot more inventory down south of Massachusetts to choose from.
Yeah, Mass doesn't really have a whole lot, except for in the summer.
If you were to be able to visit with Marcus, honestly, and sit down and just have a no BS, tell him something for a couple of minutes. We got to make it, it doesn't have to be G-rated. What would you tell him, and what would you say to other people that are falling, going under the spell of Camping World? What would you say to Marcus?
How much is too much? I mean, you can never spend as much money as you have. And how do you honestly sleep at night and when your whole Camping World motto is screw them and make as much money as you possibly can? I mean, I get it. People have, stocks and, they have to keep their investors happy, but there's a lot of companies that don't take advantage of people that make a lot of money. You don't need to screw people to make money. And then I would probably want to wring his neck. But, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I understand. And finally, your advice, I guess, for other people who are going, he was just stupid. He just made a mistake. He's embellishing. He's lying. These people, they have no clue. What would you say to them to try to get them to I go, don't do it, but they think that there's.
I would say two things. One, shop around to other places. Two, read every word on that contract, and don't let the finance guy rush you through it. And have it independently inspected, because a lot of the complaints I get are, I got it, the damn thing fell apart. I had to wait 6 months before I could get an appointment, and they held it for 6 months, a year. So I'm paying for this thing and I can't even use it.
Yeah. So you were originally you were going to buy a used one from Camping World.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I talked about this in a recent video, but what I believe, generally speaking, this is just generally speaking, they love talking about their used RV inventory. We'll buy them, we'll give you top dollar. Nobody will beat our prices, all that come on stuff. And what my belief is that they want you, Mr. Seller, to bring your RV down to them.
Yeah.
And when you get there, that's the beginning of the treatment. Actually, the treatment began when you believed that you were going to get the top dollar. But then when you get there, they run you through the ringer, and then they come out. You think you're going to get this much for your RV, but then they point out that and that, and you're like, oh my God. And some of it's true, but they beat you to pieces and beat the price out of you because, and then when they turn around and sell it, they don't reveal all the things that they found with the RV that are wrong, and you end up getting it, and it falls apart. There's nothing you can do.
And they'll never. I mean, I sent you the pictures, and you saw what they thought was shippable, ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And like I said, an independent inspector would have tore that up, and I should have had one. That's another thing. If I was ever to buy another one, I would have an independent, because even the one I bought, there's things that you don't know as a consumer that a professional does.
Right.
I'm very happy with the one I have, but again, just word of warning, get it inspected, spend the money, it's worth it. I mean, I'm Class A, we're talking over $100,000. You definitely want to make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting.
And you're not a tin horn. You're not a newbie. You've been around RVs before, and you still find things after you did your due diligence. So an inspection, if you can afford it, because it's better to pay for it now than to pay for it for the next 15 years to get a note on it.
And I'm a handy guy in a lot of things that I can fix myself.
Yeah.
But if you know about them up front, then you can work also that out of the price. Hey, I know that this thing needs new tires.
Mm-hmm.
Tires for RVs are, $1,000, $800, depending on, what you're getting. A Class A, they're pretty expensive. So you want to make sure that they're not 10 years old when you get it, or, that has a slash in it or something, like that. And that's something that, you might be able to see, but you're in that glow of, I'm going to get what I want, and you miss things.
The honeymoon phase. Okay, here's a marketing idea. Just there's no money in it. I don't think you could get in trouble for it, but Camping World still sucks on a t-shirt, and somebody would buy them, and they could go and they could just be walking around the dealership and look around. No, we're just looking. Thank you very much. And on one side it says Camping World still sucks with a Facebook logo. On the other side it says ask me why, and direct people. Anyway.
Well, actually, one of the people that was on the old site had made stickers up, and it had a QR code, and it went right to Camping World Sucks website. And I feel bad for him because he made a bunch. I'm sure he sold some, but now that it's gone, they're pretty useless. Other than it might get the question asked. So, what do you think? But yeah, definitely. If I wanted to make some money on it, I could. What I want to do is actually save people from losing money, and that's my goal, and that's why I spend time every day going through it and making sure it's up and running.
Let me
I
tell you
do
something.
have to make sure that I keep a closer eye out because I don't want to, get the community standards problem.
Well, yeah, but if they're going after you, they're going to come after you. But
Yeah.
I just think there are some people that they shouldn't mess with. You're one of them because that lying to you started that 52,000 group Facebook group, and it was one of the most active groups that I'm aware of. I mean, it was unbelievable every day. I don't know how
It
you
was on
managed
fire.
it.
I spent a couple hours a day going through email. I mean, text and stuff. So yeah. But like I said, it was worth it because I hate to see people get screwed, and it paid for itself.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best. Camping World still sucks.
Camping World still sucks, and probably always will.
All right. So look, Kevin insists. He insists that he is not seeking revenge. He's merely putting up a proverbial road sign on social media for dreamers, for people to slow down, do their homework before deciding where to shop and buy an RV. Slow down. Read every single word of that agreement. Get an independent inspection if you're going to buy one, as is for sure from Camping World. And don't be afraid to walk away when your gut goes, this ain't right. If you're on Facebook, check out Kevin's new group, Camping World Still Sucks. You can find an easy link to it by scanning the QR code over here on the screen. Make sure you drop a comment down below. Why do you think Kevin's Facebook group, Camping World Sucks, disappeared? I'd love to hear your thoughts. That'll do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't go to Camping World unless you've done your research. I'll see you next time.